Today, we're gonna look at the element of textures to be used in the context of urban sketching. Let's go! We have already covered quite a few grounds in the ingredients for urban sketching. We've covered lines, we've covered space, shape, and form. Today, we'll be covering texture. Texture is this representation of what you see of a surface or a form. It happens all the time in urban sketching. It happens everywhere. In the dirt road, the texture on the ground, tree barks in the form of the unevenness of the trees, the brick walls in the brick that you see. Your ability to create them with your artistic tools, creating unevenness, marks makings, lines, spattering, so on and so forth. Basically, just enjoying creating those images or marks with your tools is so very important. So for this texture episode, I want to talk about three things: observation, tool, and the act of creating. And I'll break it down. The first one is observation. When you're out there sketching in the urban sketching, you'll be exploring the world. You'll be looking at all sorts of things. You'll be looking at the trees, and you want to go in down to the details and look at the tree barks, and you want to be able to make marks to match that. You'll be looking at a house and you'll be seeing, oh wow, there are bricks, and you want to be able to go in and observe the textures of how those bricks are stacked, and they are marks that you want to create to match that as well. Here's what I believe in: you cannot paint what you cannot see. You cannot sketch what you cannot see. If you have not seen the textures of the trees or the brick wall, you really can't sketch them. We draw on location, indoors or out, capturing what we see from direct observation. Well, that's the manifesto from urban sketches. The second thing about texture is the understanding of our tool. Assuming you have one of your tool water brushed, you must learn how to play with it and be able to understand all the marks you can make with it. I have a video on this specifically, you can check that out. Life is such joy when you're playing, and you must find that inner child. Well, actually that's what it's all about, finding the inner child to be able to play with your tool. Toy, tool, same. You must learn how to make marks, make lines, and even splatter all, using all the tools that you have, your brushes. Learn how to drip in and let it float. Use lots of water to create the watery effect. Scratched if you like. Use a comb or whatever it is that makes all the marks that you want. At the end of the day, it's about creating this library of texture. And I find there's no better way in creating this library of texture but by playing with your tools, your brushes, with your all the stuff that you have bought, and it's in your kit. So now you're ready to create, and the act of creating is actually taking your library of your kits, your sketching kit, and then all the knowledge and the library of the texture that you know how to make. And then you go out there to observe the world. You look at the tree barks, the brick walls, the dirt roads, the whatever that you are, that it strikes your fancy, and your job is to match them. You take the texture that you have learned to make with the tools that you have, and you match it to what you're observing surrounding yourself, surrounding you. So that's it. That's all I want to say. Texture, well, of course, it's the act of creating texture, but the philosophy of it is it's about observation, it's about an understanding of your tool and to play with it, and then finally the act of creating, which is really just about matching what the arsenal or the library of texture that you have against what you're observing. The more The bigger the library of texture that you have, clearly you'll be able to make more realistic representation of the world that you see. That's it for this episode. I hope you learned something from this, and stay safe wherever you are. Bye.